Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today is week 2 wrap up of Gratitude Documented. And so if you missed week 1, I will link that down below for you guys so you can see what all I did for week 1. I'll also link my video down below where I talk about the products that I pulled and the projects that I'm doing this month. In case you missed that, that'll be linked down below as well. So doing these check-ins has kind of helped to hold me accountable and keep me on track so I don't fall too far behind. I don't know about you, but there were a few days this last week where I had to sit down and do multiple days at once because I just wasn't getting to it on a day-to-day basis. So I am working in the 100 Days of Grace and Gratitude Devotional Journal. I'm also doing a 30 Days of Thankful memory keeping project. So I'm going to set this aside for just a second so we can look at the journal first. And we are looking at days 9 through 16, I believe, for today's check-in. The devotional kit that goes with this is sold out, but the this journal is still available, and I had mine coil bound. So I will have this journal linked down below. We will be working through this through Advent and the New Year. So if you haven't jumped in yet, it's not too late. You can just jump in where we are currently and then go back and get caught up on the days that you've missed. That is totally fine. And there are some sales going on at Dayspring. Currently, they are having 30% off. So I will link that information down below for you guys, that code that you can use. It's all kinds of early Black Friday sales. So if you haven't gotten this yet, it would be the perfect time to get that. So like I said, I'm working starting in day 9 here, and some days I did quite a bit and some days I kept it pretty simple. Like I mentioned in a recent process video, if you find yourself rushing through this project because you're trying to get it done or trying to stay up with it and not really soaking in the devotional content in the scripture, then maybe you need to take a time out, take a step away from the art part, and the most important part is the scriptures and studying those scriptures. So it would be better to take the time to read those and study those if you only have a little bit of time every day than to worry about the art. And I am so guilty of doing that, so don't worry, it's not just you. I do the same thing. But for day 9, the prompt was forgiveness, and I'll probably have to come back in because this was the one page that I didn't add in the stickers from the kit with the forgiveness prompt in there, and so I'll probably have to come back in and add that somewhere. But I used a couple different stamp sets. I used the older stamp set from last year. I don't think this one's available any longer. If I can find it somewhere, I'll link it down below for you guys. But I use that as the background. And then this is a prayer request card from Ali Scraps. She did several little mini prayer cards in the colors that match this journal. I also pulled some printables from Illustrated Faith. You'll see a lot of those. I use those again and again. And then some washi tapes from the kit this month, and then from the from Creative Retreat kits. And you'll see I use the colors of the page as my inspiration for the colors or products that I'm using. And this stamping just almost completely blends in with the art marks that are already on there because I stuck with that color palette and left myself plenty of room to journal. Day 10, we're talking about being grateful for salvation and what that means. And so this was one of those entries where I kept it pretty simple. I had this wood veneer tag, and I added some Distress Oxide ink just by kind of scraping the ink pad around the tag. I did stamp directly on the tag using this stamp set from the kit and then the stickers. I stamped on it using some Ranger Archival ink. You could also use STAYS-ON ink. You want to use something like this that's meant for mixed media. It's going to work better stamping on something like wood veneer, but you can see that worked out just fine. And then some printables from Illustrated Faith. And then these leaves are a stamp and die set from Right at Home. Some of you mentioned it is sold out over at scrapbook.com, but don't worry, you can still order from Right at Home's shop. So I will link that down below. If you missed out on getting it when I first linked it, it is still available over there, so you can still pick them up. And then I used the stencil from the kit with some Distress Oxide in the background. Punched a tab out of some scrapbook paper that I had gotten to match with this project, and that was it. So you can see this is a pretty simple, quick and easy entry for this day. Day 11, we were talking about being thankful for praise. And for my title, I put for praise in all seasons, because we're talking about praising God in the good times and the bad times. And I don't know about you, but it's way easier to praise Him when things are going really good than when things are really bad. But just praising Him and remembering that, you know, He will show up, and He is a great God even in those really difficult times. And so giving Him praise during those times. The word thankful here, I used this stamp set from Right at Home. I love the whimsical look of this because it's uppercase and lowercase. It's kind of a mixture. And so you'll be seeing this one pop up throughout this project. And alpha stamps are one of those ones that I really feel like if you're going to invest your money into stamps, that's one of the first places that I would look at investing into stamps are alpha sets, because you get a lot of use out of them, and I think that they're worth that. So lots of printables from Illustrated Faith, and again, I'm using the colors from Shauna's Art Marks as inspiration for where I go with the pieces that I'm pulling. And then these are some tile alpha that you can get from the Print and Pray shop. And then again, leaving myself room for a prayer. And so there is a prayer included on each page. However, I like to kind of add my own with my own personal takeaway from the devotional content in the verse prompt. Sometimes it's really long, sometimes it's really short. This does not need to be a super in-depth project if you don't have time for that. It's just taking a moment to thank God for whatever that prompt is for the day. And it doesn't have to be super elaborate if you don't have time for that. Day 12, again, some printables from Illustrated Faith. We're looking at His greatness. So I said be grateful for His greatness. This one here is the printable from Illustrated Faith that goes along with the kit. All of those will be linked down below so you can check those out. These are some die cut leaves that I die cut out of hymnal paper last year for Gratitude Documented. And I just saved the ones that I already cut out and then brought those in. I thought the color of the paper kind of went well with the color of the layout in the background here. This wood veneer piece I just colored with a brush marker just to bring in some more of that yellow. So it looks super busy, but it really isn't. It's just a matter of gluing things down, going through my container of die cuts and gluing stuff down really, really quick. This one here is thankful for His strength. And I used the flower stamp from the stamp set in the kit, inked it up with some big brush markers and stamped those down. Used the acorn from last year's stamp set. These leaves are included in the devotional kit, and you can see again using that color palette, sticking with those three main colors, and so everything just kind of blends into the background. This word thankful is from the kit stamp set, and I inked it up with a big brush marker, and that's how I got that kind of distressed look of the stamping. And then again, room for my prayers there. And honestly, when you look at the art marks in the background, you almost don't even really need to add anything. You could just get in here and do your prayer journaling and leave it at that. She's included so much interest in the background. I almost have to pull back and not add a whole lot, or it gets too busy. I have to be careful. Day 14 is being thankful for His nearness. There is a process video for this page, so I'll link that down below for you guys, where I did these messy acrylic florals. If you're having a hard time, maybe you don't have a lot of die cuts, maybe you don't have a good printer, so you're not doing a lot of print and pray items, and this would be a good one. Maybe just every single entry do different florals, and acrylic paint's nice because it doesn't bleed through, and so I picked purple because it's opposite of yellows and oranges, so it really pops off the background. And you could just stick with doing acrylic florals, your prayer, maybe writing out a title, and you'd be good to go. So really simple. You can check out that video down below. I love how this page came out. Day 15 is one of the most simple ones. It had this big bold cross in the background, so I had to be kind of careful about what I added on here. And honestly, it was just one of those days where I didn't have a lot of time, and so I just used some of the Illustrated Faith highlighter washi tape to add these little crosses. That's something that Shauna Noel does all the time, so I brought in some more of those blues. This Thankful For is from the stamp set last year, and the hearts are from the stickers from the kit. So I just sprinkled a few of those around and kept it simple. Day 16 is thanks for vision. So just being able to see the physical presence of God around us in everyday, normal, day-to-day life, and just being thankful for that. And so there's this little guy, he's from a printable last year from Illustrated Faith, and I just went in and sketched some little glasses on him because I thought that kind of went with the theme, and then pulled out lots of printables from Illustrated Faith. This printable right here is from A Pile of Ashes. I'll link that down below. I just like that really big word thanks, and the color of it worked with the color of the layout. I went in and added some art marks with some Neo Color 2 crayons. That's something that Shauna Noel does all the time. If you are struggling with what to add, go check out her photos. Obviously, her techniques are really going to work with this book because she created the artwork in the background, and it's usually really simple and quick and easy. So I tried to incorporate some of that, and then again, left room for a prayer. Sometimes I add a tab and sometimes I don't. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just if I have a tab laying in there that's the same colors or a word that matches the day, then I'll use a tab. But I don't put a tab on every single entry, as you can see. I just want to add some interest to the top there. And you can see it's starting to get kind of chunky because I did use some dimensional pieces, but because I have had it spiral bound, I've got plenty of room to do that. So there is a look at this week's, just quick and easy, no fancy mixed media techniques this week. So there is that. And then I also am doing this memory documenting project. And so this was a list of prompts from the Wild Hair kits. I will link this over on the blog. You can jump in at any point in time. They're not in any specific order. They're not numbered, so you could kind of jump around. And what I did was I created 4 little mini Traveler's Notebook inserts for each, or one for each week. I did not do a process video showing how I made these, but Tip Tuesday this next week will be solely dedicated to how to make Traveler's Notebook inserts and the different ways to do that. So stay tuned for that if you're one of the people that asked for that. So week 2 is in this little notebook here, and I used a variety of the Wild Hair kits and Felicity Jane. So this one here is Thankful for Nature. I love how this one came out. You'll notice I'm using photos that maybe you've already seen in some of my memory documenting before. I'm not afraid to do that, especially since this is kind of a focused project. So I'm not worried about trying to come up with a new photo every single day for that prompt. I try to keep it in mind in case I come across something throughout the day that'll work, but I'm not worried and feel the pressure that I need to get a photo for that prompt each day. But you could do that if you want to keep this a current project. But this is a photo from our trip this summer to Morro Rock, and basically I just edited it differently than how I edited it the first time that I documented it. So I did it more of the sepia tone so it would work with the fall colors of the Amber kit from Felicity Jane. One of my favorite photos, so why not document it in multiple projects? That's okay. And so I used the stamps from the Amber kit. I will link the Tip Tuesday down below where I talk about how to use layered stamps, and just cut those into die cut pieces, and then used all kinds of pieces from Amber, and I just love the look of that. Super pretty. This one here, you'll see sometimes I do one prompt across 2 pages, and then sometimes it's one prompt per page. It just kind of depends on the prompt. And so here I have Thankful for Food and Thankful for Color. And so for food, it's so funny, my husband and I recently did the Whole30. I don't know if any of you have done that. It is hard, and I basically lived off of Skinny Pop for snacks. It was so hard to find things to eat that were on Whole30, and so I've been eating Skinny Pop like crazy. It's kind of ridiculous. So I've got a photo of that, but then I also created a little like pocket out of the photo with a list of some of my favorite foods: chocolate, mango and sticky rice, Reese's, German chocolate cake, pad thai, stuffed shells. I'm Italian, so I'm all about the Italian food. However, through Whole30, I discovered that I cannot have any dairy whatsoever. So there's a lot of things on here that I can't eat anymore, and I'm so sad. Mango sherbet and prune cake. Now, prune cake is something my grandma made. A lot of people call it Christmas cake because prune cake sounds gross, but it's super good. It's like a spiced cake, and she's no longer with us. She's passed several years ago from cancer, but her prune cake is amazing. So I just got, tucked in so my kids can look back and see what some of my favorite foods were, and as the years go on, kind of see what your favorite foods are. So this is primarily using products from Felicity Jane's Amber kit, but this is from, I think this is from the Henley kit, and then this stamp set is from the Brie kit, I believe. And so I kind of used a mixture of past products. For color, I didn't take a photo of anything colorful. I decided just to use these stamps to stamp down the colors that are my go-to colors, which is like this pale pink and mint green, which really worked with the colors in the amber kit. So it just kind of seamlessly works together. And like in my other video I mentioned, I try to sit down and do a spread, so either the 1 day prompt or the 2 days on 2 pages at one time. That way everything kind of coordinates when you look at it. It's not two separate completely different color palettes or something like that. I try to keep it pretty cohesive across the layout. Here we have thankful for a place and your routine. So this is a lot of product from my Wild Hair kits from this summer, and so it's some Maggie Holmes stuff, but then I also use some alphas from Felicity Jane, and then this is a journaling card from Felicity Jane. So for the place, I have the beach is hands down my favorite. Whenever I'm getting super stressed or having a bad time, I just want to run and escape to the beach, which is kind of far from us. But this is the photo of my husband at Monterey Bay a few years ago. It's one of our favorite places to go, and so I just really love this photo. I had never documented it, and so it's from several years ago, and as I just went through my photos, just trying to find a photo of one of our trips there, I found this one here, so that was perfect. For my routine, I just used a journaling card from Felicity Jane, kept it really simple. I did not go crazy in depth. I guess you could take, you know, some photos of your routine and do it that way, but like I said, I'm trying to keep these projects not intimidating and simple. Let's see, this, I really love how this layout came together. So this is thankful for a holiday and then thankful for animal or a pet. And so this is using products from the Amber kit, which is a fall themed kit, but I was able to really bring it in. I think it works with the Christmas with that pop of black. And so this is a photo, so I'm thankful for Christmas, photo of my dad and my sister and my boys and I. During one of the years we went to visit for Christmas, so we made a snowman, and I just love how this came together, and that like buffalo check. Like I said, everything from Amber is very fall themed, but this really worked for this Christmas layout. This little snowflake is actually a rub-on transfer from Tim Holtz. I'll link it down below. I picked it up for my December daily and was able to pull it out and use it for this spread here. And then this is a washi tape from Felicity Jane. So I really love how that came out. Over here I've got thankful for pets. I've got a picture of Ellie dog. She is the first dog that we had here with the boys, and so this is when she was a puppy. And even though it's completely different topics, which is a little bit hard to work off of, Christmas and pets are like two different things, but by kind of, you know, making the photos both black and white and then pulling over some of those pattern papers over here, it's able, when you look at this, it looks like it's meant to go together, even though the topics are completely different. So I just cut up some of those straps of the papers from over here, layered those up, try to use the same alphas, and then these chipboard pieces from Felicity Jane. So that really kind of pulls it together. I love all the white space. I don't know, I just really love how this spread came out. This one here is thankful for a certain time of day, and so it's thankful for mornings. I have this photo of my backyard one morning several years ago, but I had never documented it or printed it, and so I used that as this full side over here, and then used some papers mostly from a Felicity Jane kit and stickers from Felicity Jane, but then this pink is from the Wild Hair kits. These are all from Wild Hair kits, and then this is from Felicity Jane. Rub-on transfers from the Wild Hair kits, and this is that paper from my Wild Hair kits, and then I kind of brought those triangles up. I will say it was a little bit hard. I thought maybe I should pull some of that blue over here, but I decided just to focus on the pink in the photo. Not my favorite. I don't think it really matches as a whole, but that's okay. That's kind of the fun thing about a project like this, is you can kind of explore and experiment and figure out things that work and don't work and that kind of thing. So thankful for mornings. You can see I'm not doing any kind of journaling. I'm just letting the titles and photos speak for themselves. Like I said, a lot of these photos I've already documented before or will be documenting in a 6x8 album, and so I don't feel the need to date things and be super particular about things in here as far as that goes. It's just a fun project to just flip through and look at all the things that I'm thankful for. So there's a look at week 2. We still got 2 more for week 3 and 4, and you can see how nice it is to have these broken up, because if this had been one traveler's notebook for 2 weeks, it would have been super fat and chunky and wouldn't have worked. So I'm glad I kind of broke those up. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Check out the description box to links to everything that I possibly can find. If it's not linked, it's probably linked in the product video that I did, so I will link that down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.